So, today we got things going a little differently than normal. Today, we're going to have kind of a two-parter, okay? So, first and foremost, we obviously have the League of Legends patch notes to go over, right? As we do every 2 weeks. Secondly, we have a new TFT set. So, I'm just going to make a separate video after this one where we look at not just the patch notes for this patch, but we're also going to take a look at the dev drop for Lore of Legends and all the other little new stuff. I've managed to stay unspoiled. The only thing I've seen is some of the units. Like I know like Aatrox and Baron Nashor are part of the set and they're like 7 costs or something like that. But I've managed to stay completely spoil free on that. So, we'll worry about that in the second video. For now, let's focus on League of Legends patch 25.23. The winter map has returned. Our live balance portion of the patch once again seeks to add about 10 new junglers. You know, the last time they tried adding junglers into the jungle, we got, what, Talon, Zed, Rumble Morgana, Zyra, Brand, and those things have been a scourge on the Rift ever since. And hey, Zahin is coming out too, so this is a big patch. Alright, let's get all cozy, let's get prepared. Winter's Rift. All Winter Sea Lego skins will be turned on available for purchase. So new winter themed skins. And the map is here, right? Yeah. Sweet. So the winter map is back. A bunch of new winter skins, including a bunch of old winter skins. And Zahin. Now, we're going to take a look at Zahin right now. I've seen his abilities, but I've avoided looking at like how he's built, for example. So, this was the controversial part. As you all know, I'm an Aatrox main. They gave Zahin Bloodwell. So he builds stacks. He builds stacks from combat. His attacks and abilities. Right? And when he dies, he gets back up. I'm not going to say too much. I know how my fellow Aatrox mates feel about that. And look, they even make him do it against Aatrox too. And this is his Q, the Darkened Glaive. Slashes twice on his next attack, dealing bonus damage and healing himself. You can recast this ability to have his next attack give bonus damage and knock up his target. It makes me wonder, how much is he healing by? Right? Because this is like a rehashed version of Xin Zhao's Q. It does make me wonder how much he heals by if the healing is reduced against minions. Very interesting. Yeah, he's like old Aatrox plus Xin Zhao. Dreaded Return. Stabs in a direction, damaging enemies and pulling them towards him. So this is interesting. It's like Xin Zhao's W, but if it hits, you pull them to you. Yeah, it's Xin Zhao's W, but it pulls them to you. Ariat Rush. Dash to a location and slice around himself. Does it slow or anything, or is it just damage? It looks like it's just damage. Okay, it's just a basic movement spell. It's nothing crazy. Alright, Grim Deliverance. Rises and stabs downwards, damage enemies, and healing for a portion of the damage dealt. So this actually is like old Aatrox ult in a way. Old Aatrox ult, when he would go into his big demonic form, he would actually deal magic damage in an AoE around him and heal himself based on the damage he did. So this is somewhat similar, I suppose. It's actually not all that big of a... It's a big AoE, but it's not really as flashy as I thought it would be. It does make me wonder what the scaling on this is like. Right? Like, it makes me wonder, since he heals for a portion of the damage dealt, does this do like a massive amount of damage? Does this have like a huge scale? Who knows? We'll take a look at Zahin's build and his his build is his itemization, my bad. We'll take a look at his itemization as well as his numbers a little bit later. For now, let's get back to the patch. I just wanted to save looking at that for when we did it here. Arcane Anniversary. Wow. Play 4 games to unlock each milestone. With a pre-made, you only need 2 games. Jinx Butterfly icon, Yelling Caitlyn Vi emote, 500 Battle Pass XP, Salad Cat Jinx emote, Robot Mask icon, 500 Battle Pass XP, Guitar Heimerdinger emote, Arcane Anomaly title. So play some, if you're a big Arcane fan, play some games, get some free stuff. Linking penalties across accounts. Disruptive gameplay and inappropriate text. This means that when an account receives a penalty for either of those infractions, the same penalty will apply to all accounts owned by that player. Ooh, wow, that's interesting. So it's no more just, let me hop on my other account because I got chat restricted in one. Alright, champions. Aatrox. I'm somewhat aware of this. He's getting balanced for the jungle. Aatrox VGU was slated for the jungle for part of his early development before being shipped as a top laner. Okay. Very interesting champion with fun mechanics to play around, so we're alleviating some max HP caps and adding some jungle juice. So the monster cap on his passive is no longer capped at 100. It actually scales up to 320. Darkened Blade does a flat 40 bonus damage, which is multiplied by the sweet spots. Okay. I mean, Aatrox jungle kind of already worked as a secondary role. It wasn't terrible. So this should just make it way easier for him to clear, right? Because Aatrox isn't even bad for, like, ganking. Since he has, effectively, 4 CC abilities if you land all 3 Qs plus the W. We shall see. I'm a bit interested, but not that interested. Ahri. Latest buff to Ahri didn't quite get her as high up as we hoped, so we're here to deliver some more damage. So her W, subsequent hit damage, 40%. Oh, so if you get hit by multiple Foxfires, it does a little bit more. Maximum single target hit damage. 64 to 192 plus 64 is now 72 to 216 plus 72% AP. That is pretty good. So this ability does way more, actually, in a 1v1 situation. Ambessa. Jungle play rate never really took off, so they're actually buffing Ambessa just for the jungle. So the monster damage plus 25 on her Q. Okay, I honestly expected Ambessa top nerfs, not Ambessa jungle buffs. But alright, we'll see how it goes. Ashe. We're delivering a suite of ADC changes in this patch to shake up the end-of-season solo queue meta. A few of the most commonly picked are being nerfed, and some of the least common are being buffed. Alright. So, Ashe's Q, the attack speed, its scale from 25 to 75 is now 20 through 60. I mean, I kind of get it, but I really feel like Ashe's high pick rate comes in the form of you can't really go wrong with the champion. She can give you vision across the map for free, and she just presses the button on cooldown. And then her ult is a long distance engage. Like literally, no one's in danger when she presses R. I feel like that's where a lot of her strength actually lies, not really in her being a carry. Like her having damage is nice, but I feel like these nerfs don't really like take away from what makes Ashe powerful. Like Ashe above, Caitlyn's also been eating up a lot of ADC pick rate. Don't I know it? I see this champion like every other game. So her headshot damage, champion damage increase? Oh no, it only scales up to 100% of her total AD instead of 120%. And for non-champions, it scales up to 110%. The crit formula is unchanged, but she lost 20% AD scaling against champions and 10% on non-champions. That's still pretty hefty. Caitlyn scales to the point where she saves up a headshot or you step on a trap late game, and then she takes off 70% of your HP. So, good change. Cho'Gath. I've been playing a lot of Cho'Gath. But this is a jungle buff. So 20 through 100 plus 30%, plus up to 200 based on target max HP, is now 100 to 300 against monsters, plus 30% AP. So the high end is now the low end. Doesn't see the result to no longer care about their max HP and just deliver a solid punch. Okay. The problem with Cho'Gath, though, when it comes to playing jungle, is that he is extremely immobile. So, we'll see. I don't think that's really going to be enough, but, you know, Mundo's immobile, right? And he just takes fleet, so who knows? Dr. Mundo's once again risen up the race popularity due to some very skilled players using him very publicly. Yeah, Mundo actually got played at Worlds with a great win rate. Continue to monster highest performing coming weeks. A bug pit fix. So they're nerfing him a bit since they're also... So it's an adjustment, really. Bonus attack damage for maximum health. 2 to 2.8 is now 2 to 3.2. Fixed bow where Dr. Mundo was getting maximum damage at 30% instead of 70%. Okay, that's a cool bug, but this looks like a buff. His bonus attack damage went up from 2.8 to 3.2. Rebuffing his functional attack damage. Preemptively nerfing him a bit? So this is backwards. The bug being fixed is the nerf, and then they're buffing this. This is a typo, right? So they're fixing this bug, which was allowing him to get more damage early from missing only a little bit of HP. So this will lower his win rate, actually, from them fixing this. And then they're buffing this to compensate. This entire sentence threw me off. Fizz! Fizz jungle buffs? Yes, Fizz jungle buffs. His base armor got increased by 4. Nimble Fighter increased by 10 against jungle monsters. Seastone Trident, active and on-hit deals plus 60 to monsters. And Chum the Waters gets a longer cooldown, so plus 20 at level 1, plus 15 at level 2, plus 10 at level 3. Fizz jungle, huh? Interesting. I don't have a whole lot of comments on some of these jungle buffs, because while some of them are cool, I don't play a whole lot of jungle myself, so I can like kind of see how it could work and how it could be good. I don't think I want Fizz jungle to be good though, because he has like He has a point and click engage with his Q, you know? Like, how do I, as a melee champion, get away from that if I overextend? It's not really outplayable. Jace, also getting some jungle buffs. To the skies, that's his hammer Q. A bonus 50 flat damage. Shock Blast, which is the cannon Q, also the same change. 50 flat bonus damage. We think Jace Jones is a bit of a long shot. Yeah. I mean, if you're a Jace jungle enthusiast, you're happy, I guess. I feel bad for the people in solo queue who are going to have to deal with the Jace jungle players, but at least it's a little better now. Jhin, base AD increased by 2. Passive Whisper, move speed on crit, 14 plus 0.4, 14 plus 0.44. That doesn't seem like a lot. 0.04 probably doesn't seem like a lot. But this is move speed we're talking about. That stacks up over the course of a game. Especially once he gets some crit, so he's just critting on every auto and he's moving constantly. Champ might be a little hard to catch. W, Deadly Flourish. 60 to 200 plus 50 is now 70 to 210 plus 50. So plus 10 damage to his W across the board. Some small incremental buffs to Jhin. 2 AD is nice. A little bit extra movement speed is nice, no matter how minuscule it is. 10 damage on an ability is nice. I don't think this is going to change things too much, but they're obviously being very, very careful with overbuffing Jhin. Jinx, Super Mega Death Rocket. So they're nerfing Super Mega Death Rocket. 300 to 600, plus 155, plus 35%. 250, so minus 50 across the board on damage. Minus 25% bonus AD. Holy crap. Really gutting her R here, huh? I mean, at the end of the day, it is still an execute, right? This hits someone at like a third of their HP, especially a squishy target. It'll probably still just kill them at max rank. But man, I remember when they nerfed Super Mega Death Rocket, what was it, almost a year or two ago now? Because it did really, really high monster damage. Like, Jinx was literally doing like 2,000 damage with her ult to like a Baron. So you couldn't even outsmite it. You just had to like not do Baron and predict the Super Mega Death Rocket if she was still alive, because she would outsmite you. Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa's been the most picked solo queue ADC in most ranks for months on end. Gee, I wonder why. Base armor reduced to make her a little easier to kill. Only by 2 though. Killer Instinct cooldown. Up by 10 at all ranks. She's still going to be the most picked ADC. I think so. This is not nearly enough. I played against AP Kai'Sa last night in ADC, by the way. She dropped 20 kills. I don't know if that's because my AD carry was just terrible, but that happened. Hui is a well-performing mid laner who has low-quality gameplay when he can simply throw out QE to clear the waves with little effort. You know, the problem with this champion is that, in my opinion, he fights you from off-screen. He's not vulnerable enough. I get that that was kind of what you were going for, like an artillery mage with like a bunch of different abilities, which makes him hard to master. This champ fights you from 2 screens away. Like, realistically, that's the problem with this champion. And if we're going to be honest, that's part of the problem with Mel, too. Mel is so uninteractive as a champion. Like, you can't do anything to her, right? Her Q hits from Narnia, and that's nerfed, by the way. Her Q used to hit from even further. So her Q hits from Narnia, literally the other side of the screen. Her E pretty much can't miss. Like, you have to avoid it because it's so big. With a slow and root attached to it, it's just a better Lux E. And she has a built-in execute, so the champ's idiot-proof. You can't miss farm, you can steal every kill, she hits you from a screen away, And she has a Reflect, which is in some ways a better Yasuo wind wall. Depending on circumstance, right? It depends on what's hitting her, obviously. But still, these newer mages. In fact, I would argue that's a problem with Aurora too. Aurora is super uninteractive. Like, how do you hit her? Granted, I only ever see Aurora top lane, and I play melee champions, so it's like there's nothing you can really do about it. And then you nerf Doron Shield and second one as well, so I see even more Aurora top lane now. Okay, I'll stop ranting, but these newer age mages are the pinnacle of uninteractive. You cannot fight them or touch them in any way. How'd they change them? QE Molten Fissure. So this is the long ability that covers up the whole lane. The orange crack in the floor. It looks like Braum's ult. 20 through 100 plus 30 is now 20 through 80 plus 30. So minus 20 damage at max rank. I don't think that's going to change much. I guess since you max the Q first, this damage will hit before he finishes an item. Like before he finishes his Blackfire Torch. It'll be a nerf to his early game wave clear. Damage over time, 50 to 250 plus 50, 50 through 200. So minus 50 there, but with more AP skin. Okay, this is actually a good hit. This is going to really significantly slow down his wave clear in the early game. I would argue by the time he finishes his Blackfire Torch, his first item, this won't matter too much anymore. But his early game is taking a serious hit here. So total damage, 350 plus 80 is now 280 plus 90. Yeah. So yeah, it'll hit his early game. Malphite. A natural jungle kit with a decent gank paradigm and repeatable damage for killing monsters. He just doesn't deal enough right now. So Thunderclap. His empowered autos now deal double damage to monsters. Okay. So wait, you just max W first, Malphite jungle? And then build what? I don't see why I would play Malphite jungle over like Rammus. Isn't Rammus just way better? That's kind of the thing, right? Malphite's better in lane, Rammus is better in the jungle. But they fill a similar niche. Okay. I mean, if you're a Malphite jungle enthusiast, good for you. Right? I do know that there are people who love to play like AP Malphite jungle. So if that's your vibe, you got a nice little buff here. Mel, I was just complaining about this champion. She has like the highest ban rate in the game, by the way. Forgot that Mel is a viable mid laner. Shout out to League's. Yeah, Faker played Mel, so now she's even more popular. Also proven to be one of League's most frustrating champions, which we're looking to alleviate. Headed back to that, to continue to expose her more risk, weakening Solar Scenario's lockdown and self-peel potential. Hope this adjustment will be roughly power neutral and frustration reducing. So, her passive, damage per spell, 24 through 99, plus 9%, now 24 through 150 plus 15. So this is a buff. You buffed her passive. And then you nerfed her root duration on her E. This is a good change. But why touch her passive? Again, the problem with this champ is she's idiot proof. Right? They said that they weren't, designing champions with the intention of getting the Arcane fans into the game. But realistically, if you're an Arcane fan and you start playing League because of Arcane and you play Mel, you can play her all the way to Challenger. She's so easy. She's extremely uninteractive. You can't miss CS. You steal all the kills. I suspect that these changes don't change anything. And everyone will still hate and ban this champion. Miss Fortune isn't winning as often as she should for how straightforward she is to play. She is indeed a caster, so we're looking to amp up her ability to take over teamfights with her ultimate. Last night I actually got cooked by an MF. We got hit by a Yone R into an MF R, and then we all died. So it's been buffed by 5% total AD. Sure. I mean, a buff to bullet time. Cool. Ornn. While Ornn is a totally viable top laner, we think you should also sign in a tank jungle roster. I'm okay with that. Jungle Ornn was popular for a while. Active monster damage cap. So this is just buffs to his W. Scales up to 500, so double at max rank. Passive monster damage cap. So this is the brittle, where he claps afterwards. 250, also doubled at max rank. So both his active and passive on his W got their damage doubled at max rank. So just max W first and clap blue buff for half his HP, I guess. Not bad. Not bad at all. I still don't think he's going to beat out other tank junglers because of his lack of mobility, aside from his one dash, which is also his engage, but at least it's more viable. Rek'Sai top has been an enjoyable spectator experience, but a fairly miserable one to play against, significantly overpowered for those who know what they're doing. We don't want to remove this role from viability, but we'd like to reduce just how immovable she is through her lane sustain. Yeah, I was just about to say, the problem with Rek'Sai top is just her sustain. Fury gained on minion hit, minus 4%. Max HP gained, 9 through 20%. So 1% less. It's a cute little nerf. I feel like it will make a difference. Not a big enough difference. I think she'll still be popular top lane. Again, it's just the sustain is overwhelming. She gains a little less from hitting minions, but the actual amount of healing is still pretty significant. Like, this is the part that needed to be nerfed a little harder, if you ask me. But we'll see. I think Rek'Sai top is here to stay. Riven jungle buffs. Sure, why not? Her passive does an extra 50 flat bonus damage. And she gets a tick of her passive every time she casts an ability, right? So 3 from her Q, 1 from her W, 1 from her E. And after she gets a bit of CDR, it's like permanent uptime on her passive. Sure. Why not? Riven jungle. Sion as well. Decimating Smash up 15% on its damage modifier. You know, like, the Baus has been playing a lot of Sion jungle, so I actually suspect Sion jungle's about to get really popular just from how popular that guy is. Skarner, AD growth 5. So even more cute little Skarner buffs. They're tiptoeing Skarner back into viability. Yeah, because I didn't see him at all even after his buffs last patch. So they're giving him some more cute little buffs. An extra point in AD growth. Shattered Earth. A full second off at max rank. Max HP damage up 1%. There's a lot of ones here. 1 AD growth, 1 second, 1%. They're tiptoeing him back. They're a little scared of him being broken again. Swain. Swain is quite weak in his most played role of support. You know, I actually play Swain top whenever I'm against ranged and I don't feel like fighting against ranged. I just play Swain. So never move. 80 through 240 plus 70 is now 90 through 250 plus 70. So 10 damage. Okay. I mean, you max it last, so fine. Mana, 60 through 80 is now 50 through 70. So it's a little cheaper too. Okay. Cute little buffs. Nothing crazy. Tristana, armor growth plus 0.4. Or sorry, AD growth, not armor. Small buff, huh? You know, the problem with Tristana is that if she's good ADC, she's better mid lane. So it's like really awkward trying to buff her. Because how do you buff Tristana as an ADC without having her take over mid lane again? Because we had like literally 2 straight years. Like 2023 and 2024. We had like 2 straight years of just quirky Tristana mid meta. So those champions are like really hard to buff bot lane without them taking over mid. Vladimir. Continue to identify ranged top laners who undeservedly gained laning dominance from releasing lane sustained changes. Vladimir overperforming. Where's Aurora? Am I crazy? Am I the only one who's getting wrecked by Aurora top lane? Maybe it's just the champs I play. Maybe it's because I play high HP champions, right? Maybe that's the problem. I feel like it's not terrible when you're playing Aatrox. Because Aatrox does really well in a range. But like, my next two most played are Set and Darius. And because I play all the Juggernauts. And then after that, it's like Mordekaiser, Volibear, Pantheon. Pantheon's probably not too terrible versus her, but I don't know. Maybe it's just my personal experience that Aurora feels that bad. So Vladimir, -7 base health, -3 base armor. This actually hits harder than you think because his passive gives him AP off of his HP. So I wonder if this actually gives him a little less AP. I don't know if it's only like bonus HP from like items and stuff, but he's a little squishier now. I don't think this changes anything because a good Vladimir is just never going to die anyway. Volibear, another tiny buff to AD Volibear, +3 attack damage. Okay. I mean, these little buffs are going to add up eventually, right? It's going to be like Shen all over again, where with enough tiny buffs, the champ just suddenly is overpowered and takes over again. Xayah, clean cuts. Oh, so is this just the feathers flying through the targets after you cast an ability? 30 through 50 is now 35 through 55, so +5% buff. Not bad. Better for her team fighting and 2v2 capability. Zeri. So Zeri's getting some buffs along with a legendary skin next patch. Someone had to say it, I'm saying it. Move speed per stack has been doubled. It's back to 1%. I'm not even going to talk about it. She's got a legendary skin next patch. That's all I'm going to say. Sunfire Aegis. Monster damage modifier. Oh, so Sunfire's better as a jungle item again. That's pretty good. Yeah, because Liandry's is just better. If you're a Mumu, you buy Liandry's then build tank instead of buying Sunfire. Aram Mayhem. Silver tier will appear less frequently in the first round of augments. No longer possible to get silver augments back to back for the first and second rounds. Cushion crossing ports will change from touch to teleport to traditional click to teleport. Thank you. Stat anvils have been added for 750 gold each. You can get anvils? Can be purchased after level 9. Silver, gold, and prismatic anvils are available, but share of it. Oh, no shareholder. Okay. Cool. And each anvil comes with a hat. That's nice, especially if you get that one augment. Double super means have been removed to prevent late game stalling. Passive XP gold value has been modified to prevent games from ending a little too soon. Cool. Stat anvils and Aram Mayhem. Neat. I'm not actually going to read through the augments themselves. Well, maybe the just a little bit. Hang on. Every 25 seconds, attach a bomb near yourself. That's much better. Steal your heart smaller. Let's take down first champions. Cool. All right. Sorry. I was just a little interested myself. Arena. Undying Guard. This is an augment for Zahin specifically. Upon reviving, Zahin deals damage to nearby enemies based on their current health and knocks all targets back. Becoming a person damage dealt by champions outside the circle creating gains a brief burst of movement speed. It's Jin Zhao's ultimate? Come on now. Quality of life champ select update. Bug fixes, skin bug fixes, and frog web and Tristana. All right, man. Those are some lengthy patch notes. 35 minutes? Not bad. I actually kind of like them adding new champs to the jungle, but it also scares me because of what happened the last time they did it, and the time before that. Remember Rumble and Morgana being broken in the jungle too? We'll see. Overall, I think this is a pretty good patch. Again, I'm going to say it again. I'm upset that there's no Aurora nerfs. But overall, I like things in the jungle get. I like more jungle variety. You know, it makes it easier for me as a top laner, especially when I get autofilled in the jungle. It's like, okay, well, more of your top lane champions work in the jungle now. All right, I get autofilled jungle. I just try Aatrox. I try Mbessa, Cho'Gath, Sion, Malphite, Ornn. Yeah. November 19th. Yeah, tomorrow. So that's when we'll take a look at Zahen. So expect another video tomorrow on Zahen. Yeah. Okay. So that's gonna about do it for me. Once again, for my YouTube peeps, this is going to be divided into two videos. You are probably watching right now the end of the TFT video. We will be taking a look at Zahen tomorrow. And if you wanted to see the League of Legends patch notes, that should already be uploaded, hopefully. Anyway, either way it goes, whether you're watching the end of the first video or the second video, I'm going to end it here. It's been nice seeing you guys again. I'm actually kind of excited to get into it, especially the new TFT set. It's looking real good. So, until then, I'm going to catch y'all next time. Peace.